Hello, YouTube. This is Keith Kevin Kent. Happy New Year. Yes, it's January 2nd, 2018. Oh boy. This whole week, probably this whole month, I'm going to be writing down 2017 when I sign stuff. Happy New Year. I wish you and your families all the best. Really, all the best. If you're watching this in 2018, Happy New Year. I'm recording this, as I said, January 2nd, 2018. And this is a look at all of the Spydercos that I purchased. I own all the knives that you see on my channel. All the Spydercos that I purchased in 2017. These are only the 2017 knives. I'm going to have to go through a bunch of knives, and I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. If you want more detailed look at any of these knives, I have an ongoing series Monday through Friday. It's called the Knife of the Day. I'm walking my way through my collection, one knife at a time, one day at a time. The first 240 were all Spydercos, classic Spydercos from the early years up to the most recent. But this is my 2017 Spyderco collection. Spyderco puts out a lot of knives, and I'm happy to have them all. Let's start with the Paramilitary 2s. This Paramilitary 2 is a Blade HQ exclusive. And let me tell you, when Blade HQ introduced this, it was sold out literally in minutes. It has the natural G10. It is the Crucible CPM M4 steel. That is not a stainless steel. And you'll see in 2017, Spyderco spent a lot of time with M4 steel, but just retains an edge. Just a real nice knife, of course, with the compression, lock, four-way clip, smooth as silk. Again, a Blade HQ exclusive. Oh, my collection of Paramilitary 2s went crazy. It really did. The next one is a carbon fiber Paramilitary 2 with 52100 steel, 52100 steel, and that's with the carbon fiber. I am now a part of the Spyderco collectors group, so a lot of my knives going forward, you'll see a 23 at the top. That means I get the 23rd Spyderco coming off the line, each and every Spyderco, all the variations. So you'll be able to see a lot of knives on my channels that that are made exclusively for distributors, just like the Blade HQ exclusive. This is this is the M390 steel version of the Paramilitary 2 from DLT Trading. It's exclusive to them. This is the blue one. And they also have from DLT Trading the exclusive, I like this burgundy color. And you've got the great super steel, M390 steel. I know there's a lot of steel fanatics on my channel. If you happen to be one, leave in the comments about these steels. A lot of the knives you'll see are going to be variations on the originals. You'll see a lot of new originals introduced by Spyderco in 2017, but a lot of them are new steels. I am not an expert on steel, so when I tell you that this is the Spyderco Maximat with the gray G10 Paramilitary 2, it would just be great if someone tells us about the Maximat steel in the comment section. All I ask is that you be polite. This community has been so great. When people say you mispronounced this, you did this, you say it in such a great way. So when you see these knives, read the comments. Nasty comments don't make it, because I will definitely take you off the channel. This is just about loving knives. Let's take a look. Another thing, And I knew this was coming. Paramilitary, a pair of threes. I expected a lot of variation. Spyderco went crazy on the pair of threes in 2017. I expect to see more and more pair of threes with a lot of different variations. This is the crew wear sprint run. A Spyderco sprint run, and you'll see a number of them from 2017, are knives that are variations of existing knives like the Para 3, but they have, a variation, like I said. So in this case, they used crew wear on the sprint run, crew wear steel on the Para 3, and of course the light gray, where are they? Here we go. The light gray G10. This is the Urban Digi-Camel S30V steel. It's the Digi-Camel variation. And then, oh yeah, I knew this was coming. It's the Blurple version of the Para 3. If you're not familiar with the Para 3, this is the 3-inch version of the Paramilitary 2 pretty much. For years, people were asking for a smaller version of the military, and then Spyderco came out with the Paramilitary, and then did its most popular Paramilitary, the Paramilitary 2. And for years, I've been one of them screaming for a smaller Paramilitary 2, and they came out with the Para 3 in 2016, the very end of 2016. And now they're doing a lot of variations. The Blurple version, that's what the internet calls it, is this deep blue purple G10 version. But the most important thing is that the blade is CPM's S110V steel. And that it's a production, not a sprint run, which means it's still available. 2017, Spyderco spent a lot of time updating their classics. The Paramilitary 2, and also the Native. Now, let me just tell you, I'll tell you what, I'm going to save the Natives because I want to go through a little bit more about the Natives. I talked about the original knife that begot Paramilitary 2, that begot Para 3, and this is the military. Just a wonderful knife. Blade HQ did their exclusive of the military. I believe the military is still available. This is with the natural G10 and the Crucible M4 steel, just like the Paramilitary 2 that we talked about. This one did not sell out. I think it's still available, so go check it out. If you like the big military and that's 4-inch blade, guess what? Yeah, Blade HQ did another exclusive. This is the Manix 2. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. Excuse me. The Manix 2 got the CPM M4 treatment with the natural G10. I love the natural G10 because you can see through it. You see that? So you can see the skeletonized liners. Just wonderful with that bearing lock. Smooth as silk. Again, another Blade HQ exclusive. The Chaparrals, which I think, frankly, are two special Spydercos that no one talks about. And I don't blame them. They don't talk about it because of that fantastic Sage series that Spyderco puts out. Well, what they did was they set out to do a series of gentleman folders. This is the Chaparral number 5 and Chaparral number 6. Number 5, all the Chaparrals have CTS XHP steel. They're all 2.8 inches. They're very thin. They have these wonderful forward choil. They're very expensive. A lot of titanium versions. They have a carbon fiber version. And in 2017, they tried to lower the cost a little. First, they release what they call Raffir Noble, Raffir Noble, for the handles. And that's what distinguishes the Chaparrals. Everything else, they have the same form factor. It has brass under there. And its acrylic is on top. It's kind of a soft. Of course, they all have that strong Spyderco backlock. And then this just came out. Spyderco recognizes that the Chaparral's a very nice series, but they're expensive. So they try to do something about the expense. This is a Chaparral lightweight. Again, same form factor. 2.8 inches CTS XHP steel. Whenever I say Spyderco tries to lower prices or whatever, I always get a comment going, well, you know, $100-something. I understand. Everyone's has a different perspective on price. This is all from my perspective. But also Spyderco says that they wanted to lower the price on this. It's very light because of the gray FRN scales. This is the first FRN scale version of the Chaparral, and it is super, super light. There are 6 Chaparrals in all. So if you're interested like I am in these mini versions, I forgot to mention when I was talking about the Manix, I have fallen in love with this carbon fiber knife center exclusive Manix with crew wear. Oh my goodness. This carbon fiber is some of the best carbon fiber that I have felt on any Spyderco knife. Just really great in the hand. And of course it has that great crew wear steel. Smooth as can be. This was a knife center exclusive for a Manix 2. Let's talk about those natives. I was so excited. I want to jump ahead on the natives. The natives, they really took a look at the natives. Now, native is one of their flagship knives made in the USA in Colorado. I'll tell you, Cutlery Shop exclusives, I love their orange exclusives that they have done on a lot of knives. There are several more Knife Center exclusive Spydercos. They do a great job on them. This is with a black blade and that orange FRN, fiberglass reinforced nylon handle. That's when I say FRN. It's light. I call it space age plastic. This has the black coated blade, S90V steel. And doesn't it look nice with the orange and the black blade? Cutlery Shop exclusive. You know, this wonderful matte green native was really a surprise for me. I didn't expect this one to come through. Again, S90V, and just, it is G10, but it's just hard, matte finish. It feels like, I know, people explain stuff a lot better than I do on their YouTube channels, but it feels like a blackboard almost. It has an interesting feel to it. Of course, S90V steel, CPM S90V steel, and a nice variation on the natives. Obviously, Spyderco thought a lot about the natives in 2017. This is a sprint run from Spyderco. Sprint runs, again, are collector knives. They're limited, usually around 1,200,000, give or take 200. That means they're limited. Once they're sold, they are gone. And this is CPM 154 steel. It's a composite with S90V. 154 steel with S90V. This is sprint run. Remember, those are limited editions, about 1,200, give or take 200. They are variations on existing knives, and once they're gone, and then prices start shooting up in the secondary market. This was a sprint run from 2017. Now, it wasn't just the regular natives. This one shocked me. They put it in their 2018 catalog, but hadn't released the 2018 catalog yet. And when it came in the mail, I was stunned, to say the least. This, my friends, is the little native. Yeah, they're expanding on the native in several ways in 2017. They expanded on it. The little native. 2.5 inches as opposed to the 3-inch. So it's very small. Forward choil, everything that you expect on a native, except it's the compression lock on this one. Can you believe it? I love little knives. Obviously, there's some research at Spyderco that says little knives sell because they're doing little, L-I-L, versions of a lot of knives these days. This is the little native. Made in the USA. Isn't it great? But it has a compression lock instead of the back lock of the native. In 2018, you can expect another little native, and that one will have a back lock. I like that they introduced it with a compression lock. You'll see a lot of compression locks from Spyderco in 2017, and I believe beyond. Talking about natives and new natives, Spyderco took the native shape, pumped it up, put it on steroids, and called it the Spyderco Shaman. 3.6 inches, not the 3 inches of the regular native or the 2.5 of the little native. They added a contoured G10 handle. That means it's rounded. It's kind of a 3D version. And they put the compression lock on it. Now, I say it's a beefed up native, and so does Eric Glesser. So that's how they looked at it. They took the native, beefed it up. This is the serrated version, along with the plain edge version. S30V steel, high saber grind, the 4-way clip. Just a beefy knife. If you're looking for a beefy knife that can do anything, EDC or some heavy lifting, look how thick the stock is. You're talking about the Shaman. It is a wonderful version of the native, and something that we'll look back on 2017 and go, they did good. Every now and then, Spyderco does a trainer. I have the trainer for the Endura and the Delica. The trainer has the same weight, the exact same shape. The steel, for instance, for this one, they use an inexpensive steel, but they have these holes so that you can index, so you can, no edge at all. But they give you the weight, the handle, the lock, the clip, everything, so you can rehearse using it. Of course, in this case, it's just a wonderful knife, trainer. I always get trainers, and then I don't use them. So this was a great trainer in 2017. Da-da! The Endura! Thank you, Endura! A special Endura. Just great. It was a Knife Center exclusive. It's the Endura and the Delica on this Knife Center exclusive. Knife Center does a great job with their special Spydercos. HAP 40 steel with SUS 410. HAP 40 is in the middle. Can you see that line? Below the line is HAP 40 steel. And then it's covered with SUS 410. Just wonderful. We're used to the burnt orange versions of HAP 40. Knife Center added a mahogany Paca wood, P-A-K-K-A wood. So that's how I pronounce it. It's a laminate. Feels great though. Nice and smooth with the back lock. They're popular knives. The Delica and the Endura given the M4 treatment by Knife Center, which is really nice. Let's talk about, you know what I like? You know, I do a lot of high-end Spydercos, but I really get excited about Spyderco's value series. And the reason I do is a lot of people who watch my channel, they're usually not the snooty kind of knife collectors, but also, you know, you look at all these high-end knives that I do. Right now on my daily series, knife of the day, I'm looking at my Chris Reeve knives. Those are expensive knives. But Spyderco has a value series that I started out with. You can get the first 4 knives for just over $100, a smidge over $100, all different sizes. And now they're coming out with new value service knives and a lot of different variations. So you literally can have a wonderful Spyderco experience, collecting experience with the value knives that are a lot less expensive than some of the others. This is the Tenacious that Cutlery Shop came out with. Of course, the Tenacious has 8 CR 13 MOV steel. The steel isn't that great, but they come out sharp as you don't know what. My value folders took a lot of my blood. This is the version with a bright orange bottom with that black coated blade, and then you can have the satin coated blade as well. Again, Cutlery Shop doing the Tenacious well. And then Blue Ridge Plain, is that it? Blue Ridge came out with special Tenacious as well. This is with carbon fiber. So look up Blue Ridge. I haven't purchased from them, but man, I'm loving these knives. Again, carbon fiber. These are the black coated blades. Man, oh man, what I get excited because if you haven't started collecting, try to track down these variations. First get the ones with the black G10 and then hunt down the variations. The Tenacious is a real nice value and a real nice size for you. Again, these are with carbon fiber, and these are the satin Tenacious carbon fiber from Blue Ridge. Again, combo blade, plain edge, combo blade, plain edge, but with black coated. Again, 2017 for Spyderco was a big year for their value series. A real big year for their value series. They not only have these variations, but they introduced a new knife. It's the Spyderco Efficient, part of their value series. This is the first knife. The one thing about the value series, and I use the originals a lot, is they usually don't have the forward choil. Spyderco is big on a forward choil, and with my fat hands, I love that. Most of their knives have it. 50-50 choil, 50% of the blade is part of the choil, 50% of the handle. And this, with the swoop inside, a little bit different design than what we're used to. Liner lock, stainless steel liners, just a real nice knife. Again, in the 8CR13 MOV steel, but we hadn't seen a new design for the value series in a very long time from Spyderco, and in 2017 they did it. And then they introduced something to the value series with even a little bit more flair. It's the Polestar, the Spyderco Polestar new value folder. And they even went away from the 8CR13 MOV steel and used American steel, CTS BD1, where they shipped American steel to China for this knife. Just a real nice knife, 3.3 inches. The entire knife is 7.8 inches. Both the Polestar and the Efficient doesn't duplicate the size of any knives in the current value folder lineup. these fit in between those knives. So now you have 6 different knives, 6 different sizes, all 40 bucks or less. Some a lot less. Just a wonderful collection. So, yes, I do the same thing. I look at all these guys with all these custom knives and drool. And then I look at what I can collect. And I'll tell you, the value folders, great collection. I'm happy to have the value folders in my collection. I always carry a small knife. Let me take a little water break. Sorry this is going so long. We're getting close to the end, but there were a lot of knives. I always have a knife on my keychain. This is the new version of the square head, the square head 2. The old version was all titanium. This is a locking small knife, just a real nice knife. It's lightweight too. They have FRN scales instead of the titanium scales. It's cheaper as well, partly because of the steel. The steel is CTS BD1 steel instead of S30V, but also because it's not all titanium. This is gray or black FRN scales. If you're looking for a small locking knife that's great to drop into a pocket or a purse, or in my case, to put on a keychain or around your neck, you might want to consider the brand new Square Head 2. They finally upgraded the military. I'm sorry, not the military, the police. Police hadn't been upgraded in a while. This is the Police 4. The big upgrade is the steel. K390 steel, not VG10. K390 steel. This is a production knife now. Big knife, 4.4 inches. Look how thin it is. Full flat grind with the black, with a strong backlog, very strong backlog, and a black G10. The new Police 4 with the new steel in 2017. They also introduced a Warncliffe Delica. Man, I was happy. You know, it seems simple, a simple variation, but it makes a whole lot of difference. Of course, Delica for one of the most popular Spyderco knives, and just a handy knife with a Warncliffe blade now. Remember I talked about little this, little that. I love my Butch Verladen. It's a thick knife, and it's big. Well, they did a little. It's called a sub-hilt too, and one reason is because of the stainless steel bolster with the smooth G10 in the middle. Great handle with the G10, the full stainless steel liners with the G10 back spacer. It's a thick piece of work. This one, of course, a lot smaller, 3.2 inches, but still a hefty piece of knife. Just a real nice hollow ground knife by Butch Verladen. It's a small one, S30V steel. Oops, that came down fast, and it real smooth, almost cut me. Spyderco introduced really early on in 2017. They introduced the Ouroboros by Paul Alexander. A really, Spyderco sometimes is criticized for ugly knives. But they really love knives that just fit into your hand. Look at that. Full flat grind. It's sort of like the modified leaf-shaped blade from Spyderco. VG10 steel with a compression lock. You need a compression lock with that thin handle. That's the Ouroboros. And of course, the only new flipper released from Spyderco. The only one. Look at that. In 2017, took its design lead from the Ouroboros. It was created by Paul Alexander, and that's the Sliverax flipper. 3.5-inch blade, S30V steel, a compression lock flipper, a first for Spyderco. You gotta love it, right? Just a real nice knife. The only flipper. In 2016, their anniversary year, they introduced so many flippers, it wasn't even funny. Everyone asks me what's my favorite knives. I'm going to come up tomorrow with, either tomorrow or the next day, my top 5 from 2017 Spydercos. I have a viewer who always wants to know my favorites. It's hard for me because there's so many knives, but I understand it. They see all these knives and say, so which ones should I look at? I'm going to tell you, this is simple, and this will probably disappoint you. But I love the UK PK, the UK pen knife. They did the Blurple, or the dark blue version, S110 steel. The UK pen knife is a slip joint knife because in the UK they can't have locking knives. Just a real nice, now it's super light with the FRN scales, always has FRN scales, even the original. The wire clip, but now you have that great steel, S110 V steel on it. Just a real nice, handy, easy to carry, lightweight knife. Now, most of the knives I told you about are variations on a theme. We did talk about the Sliver X, and we talked about the new value knives. But we need to talk about the knives that had collectors like me drooling. This is the Little Temperance 3. I have the original, the 2 original Temperances. One with like a rhino blade. And the other with this fat blade. It's just a fat, chunky kind of leaf shape. Ah, man. Full flat grind blade. S30V steel. 2.9 inches, right under that 3-inch with the compression lock. Man, it has a little index. The original had 3 of these little dimples. And it had smooth G10 in the handle where you can index how you want it to hold it. But this has black G10. Man, it's a nice knife. If you like small knives and a big chunky slicer, they can do a lot of work for you. And if you love the compression lock like I do, this is a nice knife to take a look at. You notice they've gone compression on us a lot in 2017. Talking about bringing back a golden oldie. This did not exist before. It's called the cue ball, but it does have that wonderful ceramic ball bearing lock that Spyderco used to provide. But I like the cue ball. VG10 steel, Warncliffe blade, full flat grind. Again, another small, little thinner, but another little small knife that you can really get some work into. And it has that ball bearing lock with the ceramic ball. Talk about that lock and the ceramic ball. Here's the knife that I was thinking about. That's a little chunky. This is not a little knife at all. 3.4-inch blade, 8 inches total, but it feels so nice, nice and thin. You know, it doesn't have the shape of the police or anything, but it just gives me that kind of confidence in it. This is the DLR 3. I have the original ones, real chunky, fat handles that feel like heaven in your hand. They thinned it down. This was, the original was in celebration of the life of a New York policeman who died on September 11th. What a wonderful knife. And they brought it back so that you could use it today. A lot thinner, S30V steel, full flat grind with that strong ball bearing lock with the ceramic ball. The original had a ball bearing lock as well. Talk about something that feels like the police. This is the Opus. Just full flat grind, real thin. I love that it doesn't have a backspacer, easy to clean. Just a real nice knife. 3.75 inch blade, 8.8 inches total with the liner lock. It's one of the new knives from Spyderco in 2017, an original one, the Opus. It seemed like 2017 Spyderco wanted to tip its hat to a lot of the collectors. And I'll tell you, this was a big tipped hat. I'm a huge ethnic series fan from Spyderco. That's a collector series where Spyderco takes these wonderful knife makers like Ed Shimp, let them study up on a knife around the world, a traditional knife, and then to create their modern day version of it. Ed Shimp took a lot of time all throughout Europe looking at swords and daggers, the best swords and daggers throughout history, and then came up with this, the Euro Edge, the 2017 contribution to the ethnic series. Of course, it has a dagger shape. This is a false edge. I love the fullers, both on the blade and on this smooth G10 handle. Spyderco does smooth G10 better than anyone else. And on the back, one big fuller in the middle. Cuts down on weight, but also makes it look great, doesn't it? Just wonderful. Spyderco does smooth G10 better than anyone else. It feels so luxurious in your hand. Liner lock, full skeletonized stainless steel liners. Just a wonderful, wonderful addition to the ethnic series. I got a kick out of this one. When Eric introduced it, I don't know if it was Blade HQ or what. I just laughed and couldn't wait for it to come out. Yeah, this is the 100 pacer with CTS XHP steel. And 100 pacer kind of gives you a hint with this textured G10, brown G10. Looks like a snake. It was named after a deadly Taiwanese viper that if you were bit, you would be dead by the time you took 100 paces. And so they made a knife out of that, gave it the G10, the snake G10 feel for it. Just a real nice swept point knife, full flat grind, that textured G10 4-inch knife, real tactical looking too, isn't it? It's tactical. 4-inch knife, 9.2 inch total with the wire clip. Yeah. Tip up only, left or right. And it has the liner lock. Just a real nice knife. That's called the 100 pacer. Again, a nod to all of us collectors of Spydercos. I just jumped up and down when they said they were going to re-release or update the Chinook. This is the Spyderco Chinook 4. I have the original one. By the way, all of these knives are on my channel in the playlist, Knife of the Day. And most of these, when I got them, I compared them to the older versions. So you'll get a chance to look at the classic versions as well and what the big modifications are. This is the Chinook 4. Big knife, American Bowie knife. S30V steel. 3.9 inches. 8.9 total. I don't know if you guys are familiar. The first time they introduced the power lock, Spyderco's power lock, was on that big knife, the Tatanka, which I love. Check it out on the playlist. But it's not just a regular back lock. It has several pieces. And you can see, you see that? There's another piece. They use it to handle these big blades. It's called the power lock from Spyderco. It's not just your regular back lock. Spyderco, I really like their back locks. I think they've done a lot of work with them. But that's on the Chinook 4. They did a sprint run. They brought back the Cali 3. I love this little knife. It's so thin and wonderful with the green G10. And this is a HAP 40 steel knife. Sprint run, that means limited edition, of course. Nice 3-inch blade knife. Just a real, always a handy knife with the Cali 3. I know, people can't get over they can't get over the Ace of Heart and the spade on the handle of this. And some people said if it was just plain, and you're right, but if it was just plain, it wouldn't be so fancy. This is called the One-Eyed Jack. The reason there is a red heart and a black spade on this smooth white G10. You don't see smooth white anything on a knife because it can get so, it's hard to get the colors right and it can get dinked up and fade on you. The reason is the two One-Eyed Jacks in a deck are heart and spade. Look at that stainless steel. Look at that. The back spacer. Wonderful, nice S30V steel, 2.5 inches, 6 inches total. The steel bolster and liners. Of course, I work in an office in an urban area. I love gentleman folders. I love this knife. I really do. I hope the white holds up for me. I'm a little concerned about that, but I hope the white holds up for me. This one made my collector's heart pitter patter. When they said they were going to do a HAP 40 version with the burnt orange of the Meerkat, again, watch my take on this because you'll see the originals. The Meerkat, this little knife, 2-inch knife. It's only 5.3 inches total. It has this orange G10, full flat grind, and it's great that it's in HAP 40. But the big thing about this is no back lock, no liner lock, no compression lock, ball bearing lock. It's the secret lock. You take the symbol right here, see the logo, you press it forward, it unlocks the blade. Just a real nice knife. Again, it's a sprint run, limited edition, 1,200 plus or minus about 200 of them. Once they're sold out, they're sold out. But man, for people who have the original Meerkat, I'm so happy that they brought the new one back. And then the next to the last knife, I know there's a lot of knives to go through. The next to the last knife in 2017 I want to talk to you. Spyderco introduced what they call a flash batch. Now, I've been talking about the sprint runs, and the sprint runs are great. They are variations on an existing knife, and they're limited, 1,200 knives plus or minus 200, right? This is a little Delica. I love the original Delica. Take a look at this on the playlist. You'll see the original as well. This is a real small knife. It has RWL 34 steel. Please, in the comments, help us out with that one. Full flat grind. It's their first flash batch. Only 1,200 of them made. So the difference between a sprint run and a flash batch, this is the first time this knife has been made. It's not a variation. And they're only going to make 1,200. They gear up to make them, and then they get rid of all the pieces. So this is a one-time only. Now, I don't know if this can ever come back as sprint runs. They again tried and succeeded in a white or cream smooth G10 on this. The original Delica comes with a warning from Spyderco that the tip was so thin that you shouldn't use it for EDC. This one you can definitely use for EDC. And it's a purty gentleman's folder. Just a real nice knife with the liner lock. And a real collector's knife. Only 1,200 of them. And then I just got this. This was the last knife of 2017. Again, a flash batch knife. And this is a great knife. It's the Darn Darrow. It's not it's like a sword. The really great late Bob Lum created this. Just a wonderful knife. I love it. It's like a mini sword. CPM 154 steel. It has smooth G10, a full tang. Just wonderful in the hand. It comes with a great sheath, a big sheath, and a padded Spyderco case. It's a collector's item. Again, only 1,200 of them were made. 23.2 ounces, 10.6 inches on the blade. Its total length is 16.3 inches. And folks, I'm going to end it. I don't know where you put a big ass blade like this. We'll put it there. Whoops. And that, folks, is a look at the 2017 Spydercos that I bought. And I will post later this week my top 5 out of 2017. Oh man, I wish all of you the best of years. Thank you for giving me a great year, for watching the channel. I wish you and yours the best. Sorry it was so long, but that's a lot of knives. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to thumb it up. It just keeps me going, sharing my collection with you. Subscribe, that helps. And there's only about 20% of you guys that subscribe, so let's put that up there. And turn on your notifications so you get the special ones as well. As new Spydercos come out, I'm part of the Collectors Club. I get the 23rd one off the production line, so I will introduce those as well. You guys have a perfect day. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, I do the knife of the day. Have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.